Bonjour YouTube, welcome back with another video. In today's video, I'm going to talk to you about Skirk and especially Skirk versus the Crab in Stygian Onslaught. I've had actually a lot of requests in my recent videos and on Twitter of doing a rotation showcase and explaining how to play Skirk against the Crab in Stygian Onslaught. So in this video, I'm going to go over how I cleared it with Skirk and what's the best strategy to be able to clear this boss with Skirk. You do not need her signature weapon, you do not need constellations. You do not need, you don't need like anything crazy. I did it with Farina Xingqiu. You need Escoffier though. Preferably, actually, you don't even need Escoffier. Some people have done it without Escoffier. I think if you don't have Escoffier, you probably need R1 though, or at least like a 5-star weapon that can be pretty good. But it's doable with a lot of different teams and setups, and you actually don't need that much damage and investment to be able to clear it with Skirk, at least for Phyllis. So if you find this video helpful, please feel free to like, subscribe, and comment. Share the video if you can as well. I would really appreciate it, and let's get into it. So first, the best team for this boss for Skirk would be Farina, Mona, and Escoffier. This is going to be the best setup. This is going to be the setup that will give you the most damage during the down phase as well. So if you have Mona and you have Escoffier, honestly, this is the best setup, and I highly recommend playing this. Now, if you don't have Mona, you can definitely use Yelan or Xingqiu. So Yelan is going to be great. Xingqiu is going to be super good. Actually, I prefer Xingqiu over Yelan, but Yelan works fine as well. And after that, if you don't have Escoffier, you can also do triple Hydro. It can be solid as well because you're going to break the shield really fast. So Yelan Xingqiu or Mona Xingqiu or something like that is going to be fine. Farina is kind of key, but you can also do it without Farina. You can do Escoffier, Mona Xingqiu, and not have Farina. It also works. But Farina is nice. She gives you a lot of Hydro application. She can hit the mini crabs while you're setting up your rotation and stuff for the down phase. So, but any setup really works, honestly, with Skirk and this team. The key is going to be the gameplay. In terms of builds, if you have R1, it's great. It's going to make it easier, but I'll show you on, I made a video on my F2P account as well already. You can check it out on the channel where I clear with R5 Finale of the Deep. So if you have R5 Finale of the Deep, it's great. If you have any other 5-star weapon like Mistsplitter or even Uraku, honestly, it should be clearable with those weapons. And in terms of builds, you will prefer Finale of the Deep in general, but honestly, everything works. I mean, you can still do it with Marie Chaussee, it's going to be fine, but since you're going to use your burst quite a bit, Finale of the Deep Galleries is going to be better. And then, of course, make sure your skill and burst are maxed as much as possible on Skirk, the skill preferably. At least skill very much important to be level 10. On the burst, people usually tend to keep the burst level 8 or 9. If you can crown it, it's still some damage bonus from here. Like it goes up to 20%, so it's kind of nice. But at least level 9 is important. And then in terms of energy requirement on Xingqiu, I would at least recommend at C6 Xingqiu not 200 energy. If you can get 240 energy, so because right now I switched the stuff by mistake. But if you can have 240, 250 energy as much as possible is really nice. So you get your burst guaranteed in two skills. And then on Mona, as much as possible. 300 if you can. Here I have 264, it works fine. If I play with Farina Xingqiu, honestly, it's okay. But as much as possible, she can be on Tenacity, but even her set doesn't really matter that much. If you can get as much energy as possible, 300 would be great. And level up the burst as much as possible. I think level 10, after level 10, it doesn't give you more damage bonus. The maximum is 60, so at least try to get a level 10. If you have some constellations, it's going to be easier, so can keep that in mind. And she doesn't really need constellation. And for the weapon, probably Favonius if you need energy. If you have enough energy, you can go to Threatening Tales of Dragon Slayer. It can help you get a bit more damage. Mona can also be on Noblesse if you don't have anyone on Noblesse in the team, and Farina can be on Tenacity. And then if you're using Escoffier, honestly, Favonius, see, I mean, I'm using Favonius even though I have her signature, so like, Favonius is really, really nice on Escoffier. She needs a lot of energy, especially if you play a solo cryo, I mean duo cryo with Skirk. Skirk doesn't generate a lot of energy, so having Favonius on Escoffier is nice. Getting close to 200 energy is nice as well. And yeah, leveling up the burst on Escoffier is also nice for more stacks on Farina, but it's not mandatory. And you can get her on Noblesse or just Golden Troop if you already have Noblesse in the team. After that, in terms of gameplay, it's going to be pretty straightforward, honestly. So the key with this team is going to be to kill the crabs as fast as possible, the small crabs, because those are the ones that deal damage to the big crab, shield, like to the horn shield. And you want to kill them as fast as possible while charging your Skirk burst so you can set up for the down phase. So you will use Farina's skill at the start of the fight. You will use Escoffier's skill at the start of the fight and start using your Skirk charge skill as often as possible to get as much energy, basically to max out the energy of Skirk. So when the boss is down, you can do a big burst into some normal attacks. After that, after the first setup, so Farina skill, Escoffier skill, Skirk charge skill, you go on Xingqiu and you start using your skill and your burst to kill the small crabs. You need to kill about 6 crabs to be able to break the shield. A little bit less if Farina attacks the big crab and your swords as well hit the crab. It might be just 5 mini crabs. Do another charge Skirk skill in between to maximize the energy, so you get a maximum energy, maximum damage burst. And then once you're about to kill the small crabs, you do your Farina setup with the burst, with Escoffier burst. If you can refresh Xingqiu burst, it's nice. If not, you should still have enough damage. And then, yeah, during that rotation, the skill will die, the skill will break, the shield will break, and then your Skirk will be able to deal as much damage as possible. Use your Skirk burst into skill, into normal attacks, and try to deal as much damage as possible. And you basically repeat that rotation every time. So you should be able to get about 3 shield break with this team pretty easily if you focus the small crabs properly. One thing to keep in mind is that, as I showed in my previous tips video, when you start the fight, the boss can spawn the 3 mini crabs together in front of you in a line, so you can start focusing them and just doing that at the start. One thing that you can do is that you can also use Skirk burst from time to time on the small crabs. Since she's gonna melt, she's gonna deal a decent amount of damage on the small crab, and as I said in my guide and previous videos, the damage you deal on those crabs is recorded. Unfortunately, if it's not hydro damage, it's only a small portion, 10% of the damage that will be recorded and transferred to the boss, so it's not that big. But honestly, with this team, sometimes you have to wait a little bit before you kill enough crabs to break the shield, so you can get a Skirk burst and get your burst back again before the boss falls down. So you gotta keep that in mind. It's not necessary. You should be able to clear pretty comfortably without doing that, but I've seen some clears where they do that and it seems to work pretty well sometimes, so give it a try. And yeah, basically kill the small crabs as fast as possible, charge your Skirk burst, and then deal as much damage as possible when the boss is down. And that's basically it. Here I did a clear with my F2P account. It was not the best clear. I don't have Mona as well, so I had to use Xingqiu. And I did a clear on my main account where I have C6 Mona and also I had C2 Farina here, so it could have been faster as well. People have cleared Dire of this boss with C0R1 Skirk and the rest of the team C0R0, so it's 100% doable. You will need good stats on your Skirk. Skirk stats actually are really huge, and R1 is really huge as well in general, because I mean, she's 90% of the DPS, maybe not 90%, but like 80% of the DPS in this team. Escoffier Farina can do a bit of damage with all the buffs, but it's still a Skirk. So I get a lot of people in my Twitch chat asking, like, why do I focus the small crabs? Like, why do you not focus the big boss? I think people haven't realized that focusing the mini crabs are going to be the main strategy in basically every team to deal as much damage as possible to the big crabs. Whether you deal damage with Hydro to the mini crabs or you just kill them as fast as possible so your other elements can deal damage to the big boss when it's down. And yeah, honestly, that's basically it for this Skirk gameplay on this boss. Hope it was helpful. Let me know if you have any more questions in the comments. Feel free to join the Discord or join the streams on Twitch if you need help. And I will see you on the next one. Bye bye.